Here in Namibia, we love a lot protocol, so I'm going also to do the same thing. Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, the Honorable Cabinet Ministers, Deputy Ministers, and Members of Parliament here present, the Honorable Reverend Aino Kapuangolo, Deputy Minister with the Ministry of Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare, Master Haena Naumann, Resident Representative of the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, Ms. Hopolo Pororo, International Labour Organization, ILO, Country Director for Zimbabwe and Namibia. Professor Marius Olivier, Chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Southern African Social Protection Experts Network, SASPE, and Professor Yairos Kangira, Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, the University of Namibia. Ms. Esther Lusepani, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare, other permanent secretaries, all their representatives who are here present, distinguished invited conference dignitaries in your respective capacities, and members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Director of Ceremonies, allow me at this onset to extend my utmost gratitude to the Forum for Experts on Social Protection and its partners for convening such a conference at this crucial times when Namibia and the rest of the world are battling two opposing phenomena. And it is the huge economic recession and extreme poverty. It is therefore essential that we bring experts together to see how we together can fight poverty with the limited resources, financial resources at our disposal due to the current unfavorable fiscal environments. Namibia is a dual economy country with formal and informal sectors. The formal sector is characterized by a large capital outlay, formal structure, and documentation of the business entities. It is included in the economic statistics of the nation. The informal sector entities, on the other hand, are small, mostly one person or perhaps two, and without formal structure and documentation. They are hardly in the national statistics, and hence their roles are not recognized at all. As Namibia continues on its remarkable journey to fulfill its vision of eradicating poverty, reducing inequality, and addressing the challenge of unemployment, we are faced with a daunting challenge of addressing the structural and social imbalances carried over from the past. Director of Ceremonies, some may query the importance of the informal sector. Why are they there? Especially its contribution to the mainstream economy. While some people choose to be in the informal sector, many fall in the category because of unemployment. It's not their choice, but they are forced by the circumstances they are finding themselves in. The informal sector plays a very important role in every country, as it gives opportunities to people who are not employed to earn money through their various skills and businesses. And some are even not skilled, and they are trying their level best just to survive in this difficult situation. According to Namibia's Social Protection Floor Assessment Country Report, the majority of the Namibian people operate in the informal sector. Many are migrants from the rural areas. The report says that close to 70%, I've heard now just from Mr. Naumann that 80% of the population is in the informal sector. The majority of our people therefore work in the informal economy and are therefore vulnerable to job insecurity, low and erratic income. And you know, they have children, the people whom they are supporting. But with this income, of which you are not so sure, it is very, very much difficult for them. Given the gendered structure of our societies and their low status, women and girls are more severely affected by the scourge of poverty and other social ills, such as gender-based violence. Moreover, the challenges bring into sharp focus the issues of inequality, and social exclusion. They touch on the very core of our societies, which are the human dignity and human rights of those most vulnerable. When we talk of social security, it's not a question of charity, but it's a question of human rights. And we cannot claim to be an independent democratic republic while ignoring this, because then we are ignoring human rights. Furthermore, when we adopted the Namibian Constitution, we committed to set our people, on a path that would lead them from a society based on inequality to a society that promotes social justice and restore the human dignity of the Namibian people, particularly the poor and marginalized. And therefore, it is very much painful to see people living in shacks 28 years after the independence of Namibia. Director of Ceremonies, I will leave the in-depth explanation of what the informal sector entails and its importance to the economy, to the experts who will be speaking for over the 2 days of the conference. Allow me, therefore, to bring to the fore what Namibia is doing, specifically the Ministry of Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare, towards ensuring and comprehensive social protection system for the citizenry. The Ministry of Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare is tasked through the social progression pillar of the Harambee Prosperity Plan to investigate the feasibility of consolidating the social grants in a more effective, coordinated safety net. It's a huge, huge task. It was while undertaking this task and through consultative engagement with various social protection experts and stakeholders that the ministry embarked upon a much broader exercise that will ensure a comprehensive social protection system for Namibia, including the development of a national social protection policy framework. The social protection policy has been developed because of the recognition that current social protection programs have an impact on poverty reduction. But there are Namibians who are adequately covered and are exposed to the risks and vulnerabilities that keep them in poverty. One key reform being proposed to be provided for under the social protection policy with the direct benefit to the pension. Because as statistics reveal, the majority of unemployed in this age group are women, who are equally the majority players in the informal economy. The policy further aims to provide for the introduction of a national pension fund, which should facilitate participation of informal workers and self-employed persons through incentives such as easy registration regulations, less bureaucracy. Director of Ceremonies, undertaking the whole exercise of social protection reform, the Namibian government aims at developing well-designed social protection systems which are powerful to protect the most vulnerable and marginalized groups against shocks like severe weather, pandemics, and economic crisis as we are experiencing now. Eradicating poverty requires economic growth, which is inclusive and sustainable. We have been hearing of economic growth. There is now better prospects. The economy is growing. But the poor didn't know what we were talking about, what we are talking about. So we need economic growth, which is inclusive. These systems also help children stay in school, enable families to get enough nutrition food, and provide a stable foundation on which people can build a better future. In conclusion, I would like to thank you once again for coming together during the 3 days conference. And it is my sincere belief that the conference will find ways as to how our men and women in the informal workforce can be assisted and be included in the mainstream economy to ensure property for all. In a discussion somewhere earlier, someone said, well, the informal sector will be always there. But I believe those who have been very much too long there and who have proved that they will be able to sustain themselves, that they can move to the formal sector. Let us remain committed to advance a social development agenda which is human-centered and promote the human rights based on the principle of social justice and integrity. We have in this room a lot of knowledge in social protection, and that's very, very good and it's important. But we need mostly is hearts full of love, ears which are listening to the poor and not prescribing to them what should be done, and hands that will not delay action, but that things can be done as soon as possible. Because what we have to do with, it's a matter of life and death. I thank you very much for your The director of ceremonies is pushing me here. He thought I have forgotten a big task he gave to me while I was protesting. I've been given the honor to introduce His Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Bumba. To introduce such a person, I think you need another conference for 3 days just to tell the people who this man is. But I'm going to do it within a few minutes. His Excellency Nangolo Bumba is the most humble leader I ever encountered. This morning, as I was leaving, I didn't want to put on a tie. My daughter with whom I stay said, but you said the Vice President is coming, so you should put on your tie. Just to be embarrassed when I came in the so-called building, seeing Vice President sitting there without a tie. So such a person is Nangolo Mbumba. We met, I'm not so sure whether we met when I was, according to the government of the day, when I was illegal in Angola. I'm not so very much sure, but we met for the first time proper in Bonn. We traveled together to Bremen and to Berlin. And we were a group of about 6, 7, 8 people together with the late Anton Lubowski. And during that travel, I got to know Dr. Nangolo Mbumba. He wouldn't insist to be speaking, always be asked to say something. And he served in many capacities in our country. The most important one, I think, when he served as a negotiator from the side of the Namibian government on the issue of welfare pay. I think he was together with Rian Extien, the South African ambassador, and the two men, I think, were the right choices. Because you need, in that kind of a situation, people with wisdom, people who can tolerate things, and people with patience. Someone remarked some years ago, after or during the celebration of the, shall I say, independence of Wolf's Bay, because I think it was in 1994. Someone said, why didn't they call Wolf's Bay Nangolo Mbumba Bay? And I agreed fully. We know each other also within our families, our grandchildren went together to school, and they would call us grandpa, and we have decided also to address each other also as grandpa. And now it is my honor to invite the Vice President, His Excellency, Grandpa